The most important part about shooting curves is the rules, exactly the same rules that we apply with every one of our posing is about lengthening, it's about shape, it's about staying square. So every one of these rules is holding to exactly the same posing rules that we've learning, but what we're going to do is create some extra rules for body types and curves. So Mapu has agreed to be our curves model today, so I'm going to take you through a few of the scenarios. So one of the most obvious things is, can you take your jacket off and have you got a singlet on? Got your gold singlet on?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice and cold for you today. Okay, just pop it right there on the floor. You don't have to go anywhere. And I want you to come around here and just lie down comfortably on your tummy. Yep. Okay, so as soon as we are on the stomach, bring your body around to me side on. Okay, the first thing I do, and the first thing I do with everybody is, just lift up, pull her cami out. So the first thing we do with everybody when we lie down is everybody lies comfortably. And as soon as you lie comfortably, you do two things. You bring your arms against your body and you sit into your comfortable neck position, which is nice and low there. Okay, so the best part about this shot is, let's get this. Is that everybody sits nice and low. You don't have to smile at me, I'm just taking a shot. All right, and there's no shape in there. The most amazing part about this shot is that with a few simple moves that we do, so firstly, keep your elbow still and slide your body back. Okay, the body creates some space here and some space here. Your right hand relaxes forward. Now keep your elbow in, darling. Don't move anything unless I move it. That's it. And then this one goes across that line there. All right, so the one thing we don't do is take the elbows out, because I call that Farmer Joe. You know, we're always trying to push the elbows into the inside of the body line for women. So whenever we're sitting, the only time our elbows come out is when they're meant to be out for our hand poses. But there's no reason why our arms would go out beyond the outside of our body, because that's where it takes the outside of our body. So we don't sit with our elbows out and our hands in, and unless we do the recline, which is a different leading away from the body. So always elbows in. So we want our elbow line to come into where the breast line is. I push this arm forward over here, and this is the same pose that I do for everybody. Okay, at this stage, it's no different for curves, no different for anybody else. The most amazing part about this pose, I think, is when we lift up through here. So remember what I told you about lifting up like puppets, coming right up, straight up through the core. So it's when you use your tummy muscles and you lift straight up. Then you bring your chin around to the front, which is where the camera is. Okay, and two things. One of them is you're lifting up really tall through the neck and shoulders, and then you're bringing the chin forward and down. Now that the arm's away from the body, it's always slimmer, and this line looks good because we drop down. With curves, we don't need to lift the bum up, because have a look now, she's dropped away so beautifully that that's exactly where we are. And we're showing that screen, is that correct? So that camera's on? Yeah. Okay. So you can see that live view. So right now, already from the front, I can already see that she's in a really beautiful recline with her body, and it shoots really well. So lifting up nice and tall through your neck and shoulders, working that shoulder towards me first. So I bring the shoulder forward first and then the chin to meet the shoulder. Good girl. Right there, and then I set that nice and close. Okay, so lots of little twinkle in your eye. So we've got no reflector, we're just shooting nice and close. And see, there's no need to slim anything else in that pose. The bum is going away at 45 degrees and it absolutely just works perfectly. All we have to do is worry about getting a reflector to the face. Okay, from here I can move around a little bit more, work that shoulder in, bring your chin around to me. Good girl, beautiful, cute little smile right there. Give me a beautiful smile, Mapu. That's one. And I can come in nice and close. I can then take the elbow out, so let's do a little bit of flow. Take the elbow out. Simi, can you clip for my hair? Yeah. elbow goes out that way. I want your fingertips to touch behind the back of your hair. I want this elbow to come back closer to your body. Okay, so we're on live view, sorry. This one to come back to your body, that's it. And then lift up tall, up out of your neck and shoulders and bring this shoulder forward. Do you notice how far she grows and lifts up whenever we tell her to lift up through the back of her shoulders? It makes a big difference. Now that that elbow's out there, she can fall onto that hand a little bit more, good girl, and then I get a totally different vibe in my shot. So from there, sorry, excuse me, any questions?
It just seems like you would bring her elbow away from her butt.
Okay. Not towards it?
It just seems like you would pull it, you'd want a space between, obviously, her boob and the arm. Like
there is space between her boob and her arm.
Okay, maybe it's the angle.
So
Sorry.
what happens, no, have a look at this. What happens is when people sit down, they always put their elbows here. Okay, and as soon as the elbow goes, as soon as the upper arm goes against the boob, it just squishes in there. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you pull it away, that's enough. We don't need to recline people all the way out here all the time just to get their arm weight off their body. All we have to do is create space. In fact, it's a really good posing lesson, if I'm in the camera, it's a really good posing lesson to learn that you don't have to be all the way out here to create the space in the waist. All you have to do is bring it away a little bit. As soon as you can see the gap between my body and my arm, you can see that that's not where my waist, that's where my waist ends. And obviously you can do that by touching the thigh and just sliding your elbow up a little bit to there. So you don't even have to necessarily be hands on your hips. But what you do have to be is sort of shaping, hand shaping around your body. Okay. Yeah, and as long as the weight is slightly off your body, it's okay. As soon as this comes back to here, so the second thing is if you go back into a comfortable zone, so sit comfortably, arms down by your sides. Okay, as soon as you squash here, everybody sits into their neck the same way. If you get her not to move around, but just lift all of her weight up, like lift all of it, see it already stretches it out anyway. Yeah. The most hated body part that I've heard for 22 years is my arms. Lean girls, curvy girls, it does not matter. I always get that, don't make my arms look fat. Okay, don't make my arms look fat. Oh, I don't like my arms. I don't show my arms. I don't like my arms. Don't make my arms look fat. That would be the most complained about body part. If I can stretch this out and make this arm look gorgeous, then I'm always gonna win. Okay, no, elbow in. Yeah, and this arm across. Yeah. Okay, so lifting up nice and tall, chin around to me this way. Okay, straight away you have a drop off at 45 and that looks great. Okay, what we can do here is slide your body back, keep your elbow still, slide your body back a couple of inches, stop. Okay, the more I stretch out the arms, the more cat-like I get in my pose. Okay, and the more cat-like I get, then the more sexy I can get in my posing. That's when I roll up onto the thigh, stop, don't move. Roll up onto your thigh, bring your knee forward. Stop, just there. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, so the idea here is that we put a little bit more shape in there. This knee can come up a bit more. That's a girl. Okay, it's a bit of a short ottoman, this one. If I have a longer one, then it will work. Elbow comes out towards me. That's it, stop. Lifting up nice and tall, shoulder forward, and bring your chin around. That's it. Don't close this gap. So keep a gap here and here. Really, really important. Okay, and once my booty's up, then I get this beautiful shape here, and then I have my booty poking up at the back. Okay, that's easy. That's fundamentally what I would do with the curves, absolutely. From there, let's show them. I want you to sit down in front of it. So stand up, and I'm going to go around this way. So what I want you to do here, Mapu, is I want you to sit down, and I want you to sit on your side and leave some space here between the ottoman, and I want you to recline back onto it like this. Okay, the whole point of shooting curves is to create space. As soon as you create space in the pose, you make it look slimmer and you make the body look great. So what we're going to do from here is just shoot. Sorry, stop. Just pull your jeans up around the waist and stop tugging, you'll be right. Okay, now even though I told her to leave space between the couch, she just did what everybody did. Now that's perfect because it's a real example of what everybody does. is they straight away sit down comfortably. Let me move this around. Right, everyone can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, by the way, there's a pipe poking out of the wall behind her, but we're not going to worry about that. What I want you to do is I want you to turn your hips away from me. Yep, scooch them, no, slowly move, just scooch your bum away. Stop. Knees together, stop. Put this hand here and slide your elbow back. All the way back and down, down. That's a go. Okay, so straight away, do you see what we just did there? Now what we do is we take your entire weight off your side, so sit up, so only your elbow touches. That's it, right there. All right, so as soon as we create space, we're slimming already. Now what we do is we turn the body away and pull your weight away from your elbow, because the more space I create through that pose, the better. This hand relaxes down in the front. This hand is wrapping around the body, which gives her an hourglass. What I do here is when I shoot curves, I'm going to shoot slightly higher than her eye line, but not too high. I don't want to shoot down on her like this. This is a really old way of slimming. We used to do it in the 90s, and I don't think you need to do it anymore, not with Photoshop and the way Photoshop works. You know, it just doesn't look good, that whole shooting down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is if I bring her chin around this way and I just shoot it there on her eye line, one moment, then I'm there. Okay, so it makes a really big difference. Let's go even lower and lift her. So if we go back to our live view, because when I move her, let's lift her up even higher and project your chin forward. Good girl, not that far, and work that shoulder. Stop. Let's shoot that lower with her lifting up through her body. So it's still doing it, and she's still being shot at a nice low level. But all of her weight is away from me. Her bum's away from me, her legs look slim, her arm is hourglassed around the back, there's a great breast line, there's 45 degrees, and her shoulders to me. If for any reason she does not like that front arm, so if there's any reason she's uncomfortable with that, or I retouch the image, and I want to bring that in, then I can slim that arm really easily in Photoshop. Okay? Now the add-on to curves. So let's say now we do the add-on. I could shoot a couple or a mother and daughter or two sisters just sit forward. If I bring the second person in, and then I get her to do the same reclining slimming pose on me, and then I come forward and we connect there and you shoot that vertically. So that works as well. You can use the same poses and add people in. So there's no reason why we can't make mum look slim and gorgeous reclining with her children all around her, or sitting on her knee or up behind her, or her husband behind her and a child sitting here with her arm around that child, because it's all about lengthening her and stretching her body out first, instead of having her sit up here like me and sitting here like this in a not a good position for anybody, and taking a photograph of two of us like this, okay, with our children around us looking like we don't look that flash. Eh? Okay, so from here, same rules apply again. It's all about lifting, it's all about shaping, it's all about reclining. It's okay when you've got curves, and one of my curves poses is when we are sitting with the arm back like that, and then the next one is when we turn and recline back that way. So what I've done is, if you just bring nothing but your knees around to me until this hand goes across there, that's a girl, so onto the ottoman, that's it. This hand stays on the inside, that's it, drop it down, now lift up as tall as you can. Now as soon as you cross the arm across the body, it flattens down again, okay? So this is where I just have to do one movement, and it's bring your knees around a little bit more and point your boobs that way. That's it, because as soon as I take the weight off her arm and she pushes forward, ballet hands, good girl. Okay, and then you bring this elbow away from the boob. So it can stay in front of the body, but just don't have it sitting up on the breast. So just get it to lean towards you a little bit more and pull the boobs back. See that? Okay, so watch from the front. When you come back up and your boobs are up in this area, there's no space around you, all you have to do is pull your boobs back. I'm saying boobs a lot today. Sorry. Okay. Ballet hands, pulling boobs back, lifting up nice and tall, and bring this foot around. Stop. Bring this foot around a little bit more and point your toe towards me. Bring this one foot around a little bit more. Stop. Sitting up nice and tall. Mapu right up through the top. Good girl. Don't move your arm. That's it, sitting up nice and tall, darling. Good girl. Work that shoulder forward in the front. Long neck. You've just come straight down on your neck. I want you to lift all the way up as high as you can. Work this shoulder forward. Good girl. Stop. Right there. Excellent. Okay, from there, what we're going to do is that's lying down, then we're sitting and reclining. Any questions?
See, I noticed, I'm just curious, in the corner you've got there a no and versus yes.
Don't shoot down on them.
Don't shoot down. Thanks.
We just did that.
Got it.
Okay.
Question.
Yes. What's your black soft one, not your jacket, your soft one?
Chrissy Marie is wondering if the woman is not wearing pants and just wearing a skirt or something, how would you slim the legs the same way?
Well, I just kind of wrap a skirt around the legs. If it's a big skirt, I just kind of, the more it looks fitted, the slimmer it looks. So it just works that way, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
What I'm going to do now is what I traditionally call cover girl. The thing with cover girl is all of a sudden there was a body going straight to the camera. So it wasn't about, the thing with all of a sudden cover girl was that there was no slimming in a 45 because it was impossible to slim somebody who's straight onto the camera this way, right? Because the bum's not going to go backwards away from the camera because we take what we don't want back. And there's no way I was going to get, even on sideways movement with curves, there's no way I can do a tip or a 45 or a recline. So one of the hardest things I had to do was come up with a way that curves could do this, because I didn't want curves to not be able to do this pose. Okay, I wanted curves to be able to do it. And it really works really good for curves if they have a top, a scarf, or a wrap around their arms. And it's not to hide the arms, but it's to cut into the body line, because the camera is quite deceiving. Go back and lean against there, it won't fall. Yeah, okay. Let me just set up the live view. Questions while I do that? Mark? You're on live.
Question again about the big black background that you're using. Is that spray painted? And I think the answer is it comes like that, right?
It's foam core.
Right?
So it's just...
It comes like that, the black side and the white side.
I don't know where the boys got it from, but the boys here got it for me, so maybe they can answer that in the chat room. It's
We got it locally at Glazer's.
Glazers?
Yeah, it's our local camera store.
Okay, cool.
What did they use to put it
Gaffer
Gaff
tape?
tape. Do you know what gaff tape is? Oh, okay, so in the movie industry that there is gaffer tape, and you can rip it with your hands, but it's really sturdy and they use it for everything.
Okay.
All the gaffers use it. It's for lights, it's for cables, it's for microphones.
Oh.
You talked about additional slimming to the arms if they still didn't like as much as the slimming you were already doing.
Yes.
If you're doing that in Photoshop.
Yes.
Is that after the viewing that you're seeing that they're still iffy about the, and that
No.
you just choose it yourself? Do you know?
No, I'm now intuitive, I would say, enough in my images to create images that don't need much post-production after they've seen them. I want to retouch my images before they see them, not retouch them after they see them. I just don't feel like people really need to see anything. In fact, this is really hilarious, but it's a true story. I was photographing a woman, and she's a curvy girl, and she said to me, whatever you do between the taking the photo and then showing me, don't ever show me. And it was such a bummer, because I wanted to be able to use her as a demo, because she was really such a great body shape for me to use as a how to make look amazing, but she just did not want to see that before and after process. And she goes, whatever you have to do, you just show me the finished version. And I said, I do that anyway. And she goes, good. And whatever you do in between that, I never want to see it. And I said, oh, okay. You sure? And she, you want to see a little bit? You know, she was a photographer too. And she said, no, when you order a bacon burger, you don't want to see them kill the pig. And I thought about that, and I thought, oh, it's such a crazy thing to say. But the truth is she's ordered something. She wants me to finish it and for it to look beautiful. She doesn't want to look at it and go, okay, that would be good, but I want this. So that means when we're doing Photoshop, we're talking about a very fine line between what I believe is the right amount of Photoshop and what I think she will like. Yeah.
So a question from Flea in Georgia. Can you explain what you mean by the eye line when you're shooting?
Yes, I can. At the moment, Mapuana's leaning back against the wall and I am in high heel boots, and we are exactly the same eye to eye level, which doesn't happen to me often because I'm short. So normally I'm a little bit shorter than everybody. It's very common, maybe most photographers I meet photograph a little bit higher than the eye line, so that means they are a little bit higher than their subject. People do this for two reasons. One of them is they think it's slimming, but also, I don't know, it seems to be something that people do all the time as they get a little higher than the eye line of the client. In order to shoot my version of glamour and posing, I do most of my shooting here just below the eye line, so I'm often in a slight squat like that. I'm constantly shooting at a slight bend. Good for the thighs, but really hurts. Okay, and the idea is let me shoot that. Stay there, Mapu. I'm going to broadcast a not nice photo of you. But then I'll go back to your really hot ones. Okay, so if I shoot her down there, then Mapu's chin looks like that. Can we, yeah? Okay, I'm down there. And I see a lot of people doing that. So the thing that happens now is if you drop your shoulders down and lift your neck up as high as you can, so like lift your neck high, long neck, good girl, now pushing your chin forward and down. As soon as you do that, no, don't give me a smile, just give me a normal face, tiny little smirk, that's it. You instantly drop her chin forward and down to here. And if you go back between the images, you can see the difference in how much slimming that does, and all she did was push her chin forward and down. So the first mistake people make is let's bring it down even more. Let's go upright, long neck, push your chin forward and down, stop. So when it's here, you can see now she's really forward and down, and watch the difference bounce up. Okay, now if you go to the first one and the third one, because Nico is so amazing that he can just do that. That is just a normal neckline and a pushing forward neckline. She's got no reflector, so obviously she's got Dracula lighting on the right hand side, but the idea is it's so much more slimming on the right hand side. Also look at her torso. Because she's lifting up, she's not sitting into her comfortable torso. So when she's relaxed, she's not sitting down here in her comfortable, in her comfortable position. She's lifting up and forward and down, and it makes such a difference in slimming. Okay, so we're not talking about slimming, we're doing cover girl. So what I want to do in my live view is I want you to put your hands on the inside of your top up onto your waist. Okay, so there's the waist there, and if we photograph the waist like that with no shape, that's what we get. Now what I want you to do is to put your feet apart, okay, and now I want you to rock onto one hip there, good girl. And now we're putting movement in the body with the hand on the waist, and that's just there. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to put your hands higher. I want you to bring your hands in. Okay, now one's a little higher than the other, so yeah, about there. Now, I don't want you to Thunderbird it, I want you to hold it. That's a girl. And now what we do is, you can relax it like you are, keep your elbow out, that's it. And now what we do is we're bringing the hand into the waist and then bringing it in even more. So it's no different. All we're doing is creating a point of reference for the eye to look at. Push your chin forward now and down, stop. And if you look at the difference between where the eye is drawn to, as soon as the chin comes forward and down and the hands come in, we instantly bring the eye down into the center of the body. Okay, so we call this faux waist. And the whole point of faux waist is that we're creating a fake waist. Okay, you hold that. Come and take a shot of me. Okay, can you give me this? Yep. And you go cold and I'll wear your jacket. Oh, that's good, because I was a bit cold there. Okay. So, it stands to reason that if you photograph me out here like this, that is my width. Oh, new profile shot for Facebook. Oh, nice. Okay, so if I come into here, then the first thing I do is create my own waist. And it does make my waist considerably smaller when my hands are there, but also when I'm working my shoulder, when I'm working my hip. Now, I can use this shape anytime, so let's say I do it here, and then another one, and I'll come right in. Okay, so either way, what I'm doing, you can see what I'm doing. I'm using this as a distractor. I'm creating a fake waist here, okay? I can bring my hands right into here. So even the live view can see it. So I think when we go back to live view, yeah, we're on live view here, you can see what faux waist does and how good it works. And it really does work in terms of creating that illusion that the waist is smaller than it is. And once you see a shot of faux waist, you actually can't go back to seeing the waist where it normally is. The biggest mistake we make is sometimes we'll do that with a bride in a wedding gown, and she doesn't have the jacket, but she does have a veil that can come over her arms. If she doesn't have a veil, she does have her arms slimmed by being out on the frock. The problem being is that you don't want the bride to only do this pose all day because it's a stupid pose. So it's a good pose for cover girl, but it's not really a bridal pose.
Oh, really quick from the internet, are you squeezing your waist or are you just placing your hands on the waist?
I'm just placing my hands here.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of squeezing because I want my thumb to look like it's right on my waistline. So I am kind of squeezing in, but I'm not like... And that brings me to another point. A lot of people suck in when they're being photographed. So they'll do their pose and then I'll look at them and I can see their shoulders raised. And often when I see their shoulders raised, I realise what they're doing is that they're holding their abs in. And I always say, relax your stomach because then your shoulders drop. And instead of sucking inwards, poke outwards because I cannot recreate this line here in Photoshop, but I can change this line in the front. And sometimes you compromise a shot in the front pose in order to get a beautiful line through the back when you're shooting curves. So come back. This shot here in my manual is a really beautiful recline forward. Are we on there? And the idea is that the whole stomach is pushed forward in order to get a beautiful shape through the back line. I will compromise the front line of a shot because I know I can Photoshop it. And tomorrow morning when I do Photoshop, I'm going to show you how I contour bodies on Photoshop without using Liquify. Okay, because Liquify is, I think, horrible compared to warping. So I'm going to show you how to change body types. So I will compromise one for the other without thinking twice about it. Okay, so are we going to change to the next one? Any questions about faux waist?
Let's see. Question from Sydney, and this came up from a couple other folks, is what if the person has really big arms? So people are saying, what if you're a lot heavier than Mapu is?
Okay, so just bigger arms just means exactly the same pose, keeping it away from the body, lots of recline, and we have a choice. We either cover the arms, we wrap the arms, we put a scarf on the arms, we put a cardigan on the arms and still faux waist. And if they still have their arms open and they have their arms showing and they have bigger arms, then usually, just because some people don't like their arms doesn't mean everybody doesn't like them. You're only removing the bits they don't like. Sometimes arms can get a bit flabby under here. You can stretch them out and Photoshop that nicely, and if you have to slim them, you slim them in post-production, and if they don't want their arms slimmed, you think they're quite comfortable with their arms, leave their arms as they are. There is a tuition video on my blog of how I slim the arms of a curvy girl who's sitting with her the next pose I'll show you with Mapu, and I've used that shot to bring her arms in, because she had arms that went down on the sides, and I was like, this is how I shape arms. And the first thing somebody wrote underneath it was, what was wrong with her arms in the first place? There is always going to be an exception to the rule. There is always going to be people that love having their arms. We should all be grateful for our arms. Let's make that right clear. If you have arms right now and you don't like your arms, you need to go and meet somebody without arms to appreciate your fabulous arms. Your arms work and move and lift and hug and do all the beautiful things that they are meant to do. But if I have got a shot of a woman who does not like a little flabby piece of arm or a little overhang, or I haven't stretched her arms out in a nice way, I will Photoshop it if she wants me to, or if I think she would like the shot more. Okay, does that cover that? All right, because it kind of weirds me out. I'm not telling everybody they need to have slim arms. I'm telling you what women do and don't like, and arms is a really big one for me. Okay, from here, this is a really neat example back against there to see live. Because you can see, again, such a visual transformation. Coming this way. Towards me to the centre, Mapu. That's it. See? All right. The first thing that we do is we'll take a shot of just standing normally against the wall, arms down by your sides. Okay, there you go, girl. Okay, so as we watch this one come into play, now turn towards me, stop, lean against the wall, yeah? Okay, there we are at 45 degrees. So this is a simple step from this movement here. I want you to take your back foot 45 degrees out, and I want you to take your left foot with it. That's it, so you're taking all of your weight on that back foot. Now I want you to lean with the back of your shoulder against the wall. So with the back of your shoulder, not your arm. So there, that's it. Now take all of your weight on that back foot and then push it out. Now further, take a step out. No, don't turn away. Yeah, just take a step out. So keep your hips 45 and just step away from the wall. Yep, step away from the wall. Now take this off. Just drop it. Don't move your feet. Okay. All right, so lean on back. That's a girl. So the first thing we do is create space here. As soon as we create space here, we're creating space in our pose, and we're also giving her an hourglass. Is that right? All right, now you're supposed to be on the seam, so stay in that position and come forward. That's it, so I can keep coming, keep going. All right, now turn your body away from me. That's a girl. Okay, now take your hip out. That's it, stay there. All right, now the first thing we do is right now you're projecting your whole lower body towards me, and it's meant to be over there. Keep your shoulder there and just step away. One more. Good girl, stop. All right, now your hand goes onto your thigh, you slide it up and your elbow goes back. Okay, so just to show people, bring your arm back into the front. If you keep the arm out in the front, it will not define her waist. If you slide it up and bring your elbow back, then you define her waist right there. Now I want you to bring your chin around this way. Stop, good girl, lifting up nice and tall through your neck and shoulders. There you are, stay there. And now the last one is to slim this front arm. We just touch the back of the jeans there. Okay, so just the wall or the back of the jeans, either way. And what we can do is pull her with this elbow right there. So stop there, long neck, chin around. Okay, and straight away, so that step-by-step process right there to get her to there is really easy to do. Okay, so she's coming round now. Okay, so we get a before and after. Okay, so you see how that's working? Questions?
Does it make sense then, I know she took the cardigan off, that something more hanging doesn't create that space behind the back?
Yeah, if it's, well, I don't want a black cardigan with a beautiful gold top anyway. I've slimmed her arms down and she has beautiful skin.
Okay.
So to me, it's going to work because I would rather, stay there, don't move. I'm going to move you. Just drop down. Stop. Put your hand back there. Just on the jeans. Yeah, that's it. So lower. That's it. Long chin around to me this way. This is the shot that I took of Mapu here. Chin around to me. Chin around to me. Chin around to me this way. That's a girl. Okay, wait a minute. Don't move. I'm just going to bring some hair around. That's it. Chin around this way. That's it. Beautiful. And straight away, I'm more interested in that shape there. So I think if the weight goes onto the back foot, it pushes away. This here is just a shadow, and that's easy to clone out. You know, once you drop that shadow out, that goes completely smooth. And she has a good shape in her arm. She has a beautiful shape in her breast line. She can connect with her front shoulder and bring her chin forward and down. So, and yet to look at, when you look at her, I'm just going to show you from the front how awkward she looks right now from the front, because although she's got all of her weight on the back foot, when I walk around to the front of her, she's actually in this position here. Now, can you imagine most of your clients are saying, right now I do not feel skinny or sexy because I'm kind of halfway down a wall with my knee up like this, and yet from this angle, everything that I want pushing forward is perfect, and everything I want pushing back is perfect. Is that cool? Okay, so we can move on to the next one. Any questions there?
Your lens choices, do they help you in any way make this more effective?
I don't think so. I shoot this with the 50, I shoot this with the 24-105, and I shoot this with the 35. So, yeah, obviously there is that centre point and there is a slight warp in the lens, and you're definitely going to get that movement. But if it's all projecting forward, then it stands to reason the face jumps forward and the body jumps back anyway. I'll use all three lenses for the same shot. Yeah, as long as they're really working their body into that pose. I mean, you can see how that does not work. You can see from the front that that is just an awkward position to be in. And yet, if you show the side view of that, even if you can put the side view beside Nico, it's like Nico is God.
Yes.
You just go, Nico. And it just happens.
Nico is Nico.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
great.
such a simple position, and to drop it in like there is just, yeah,
So
amazing.
somebody had asked earlier about, do you have women who say, well, this can't be looking good in
All
this
of them say
position?
that.
And so how do you coach them?
I always say two things. One of them I say is, you have to trust me. It feels ridiculous and it looks amazing. And they go, okay, I'll trust you. And the other one I say is, when they say this really hurts, I say, beauty is pain. Suck it up, let's go. No.
Nice.
Is there a reason why you leave the hair hanging on both sides other than sweeping off to one side or the other?
Because we're not framing. I don't frame. I don't use the Rembrandt lighting or the system or anything where I'm lighting with shadows around the face. Because traditionally, when you're framing portraiture, Rembrandt lighting is more slimming because it takes down the shadows and brings the pointy bits forward, right? So obviously the more shadows there are, then the more slimming the body looks. I work on a flat lighting system not dissimilar to a beauty dish. Now, a beauty dish was designed to take beauty photographs of models straight on with light hitting them, and so obviously you're not going to have that with a normal body, with a normal woman. So I'm beauty dish lighting a normal woman and sculpting her body away from the camera to get a desired look. And one of them is I use the hair to frame the face, where you normally would use artificial light in a studio to frame the face traditionally.
Yeah, earlier you were talking about the faux waist and the bride without a veil.
Yes.
And I think we asked you a question in between. Could you
Oh, okay.
continue that?
What was that?
We were talking about the bride and the faux waist, and you don't ask her to walk around
Oh, yes.
all the time.
Okay, so let's look at other positions that we can put the hands in that
Thank you.
aren't up on there. So when you've got a bride, obviously she doesn't have a veil or she has a short veil, one of the most obvious things that I could do is just to bring the hand up to here. So I look at it like ballet hands, that anything that you can do that takes the hands a little bit away from the body. Also the hands to here and to the outer shoulder do exactly the same thing. They take the arms away from being flat and stuck to the side of the body. So anything that you do that touches, this is why you also have a bouquet. You can hold the bouquet, you can hold the bouquet here, and you can swing a bouquet out, which also takes the arm away from the body. So you can swing a bouquet, you can just touch down here, you can touch down with the back of the hand. So if we go back to ballet hands and how we use them, for a bride, she can ballet hands and do lots of beautiful poses where her arms aren't just stuck to the sides or in cover girl position. Because I'm seeing a lot of brides like this, because somebody's told them it slims their arms down. And let's face it, everybody says my wedding is going to be different from everybody else's, and they are 90% of the time in a strapless A-line gown with their arms out. And then they have the audacity to say to the photographer, I don't like my arms. So it's like, and you chose a strapless gown? But the truth is what they don't like is not that they don't like their arms, they don't like shots where they see their posture forward and their arms flat and squeezed against their body, because then they go, ooh, my arms look fat. And they aren't necessarily, they're just not shaped. I think keeping a bride's shape in her body all day is about coaching her and saying all day, a bride generally has a whole different energy around her body. So I look at it like this: have you ever seen an ugly bride? You don't see them because they're so beautiful, because for one day they're allowed to be the most beautiful woman in the room, and they generally have an air that is quite beautiful about them. They're wearing a divine dress, they've usually prepared their body, they've done their hair and makeup so beautifully, they've chosen a dress themselves. They usually walk around with that, I am so beautiful and feel so beautiful, because they're allowed to be. So why do we allow them to be so beautiful? It's not fair that you can one day you are allowed to be the most beautiful woman in the room and everybody will tell you are. So they definitely have a little bit of an air about them that's a little bit more sort of postured and beautiful. But you can explain that to them, soft hands, and keep all of the movement around your body, and remember that the shoulders, work your shoulders and have fun with it. You can coach them. Yeah. Right? Any more questions there?
One more quick one.
Sure.
Do you ever shoot with a ladder, and would you recommend it for someone to get the appropriate height of the eye line?
Yes. Recently, I photographed a girl who was 6 foot, but she was fairly lean. So I shot her at my full height in heels, which is about 5'6". And so I was about 4 inches below her eye line, which looked really fashion. But if she had been a 6 foot curvy girl, then I would have had to have been just above her eye line. So yes, I'll either get a little footstool or a 1-step ladder, but be careful with the step ladder, because you are inclined to run up it and then shoot down, and you don't want to be shooting down. But yes, you should always have a little wee step in your studio. Okay, another one. Mark, can you bring that down? We'll bring this ottoman in, so go that way, Mapu. Is your mic off? I don't have one. Oh, yeah. Well, no, just on there. Yes, it does need to go lower. Okay, so just one that I'll demo without the live view. I can just shoot it. It's come against this wall, Mapu. You can take your black top off. Something that Mapuana did in her shoot to give her a beautiful shape, and I'll often do this with big boobs, is to hold your elbows here and here. Okay, so the thing is often with really big boobs and anybody big busted, they can bring their hands under here really well and just squeeze together, and it's actually a really nice shape for the upper body. It also brings boobs, and often large busts make people look bigger than they are too, and so if you squeeze them in, you get a beautiful shape here. But what we did with Mapuano, and she was wearing the black lace top in her shoot, is we actually squeezed in her elbows, and we did a series where she moved like this because she's got such a beautiful smile, and then she came back and rocked onto this foot and did the same thing, but we kicked back with our back foot because we wanted that, and then you opened up here, and as soon as I got to that shape there and saw that, she just pushed her chin forward and down, and it was so gorgeous. So I often squeeze in and use the elbows and then work the shoulder for body language. So I'll just cross over and get this. And we took that there, and as soon as we brought the shoulder in, one of the first things that we do is, if for any reason we get a beautiful shape here and we work the shoulder towards the face so that we get that beautiful vibe in the shot, if for any reason, and this goes against what we're saying about pulling the arm away, but for some reason when that works, this is the outside of the shot here, and if we want to slim that part down, we can do that in post-production if you want to, but it has a gorgeous little mood to it, and she did that gorgeous shot. She curled her shoulders in and she did that beautiful big smile, and in her lace top on the black background, it looked really gorgeous and we loved it. All right, so I want you to come and kneel down here. This is something we did yesterday when we did the beauty shot. Remember, Simona was kneeling with her elbows on. And so this is really cool because the difference is when you're dealing with curves is when you come down and first just sit down and put your arms up. So okay, so just sit normally, nice and low, yeah, and then we bring okay, so from here, when we're sitting down, it's really, really important, first of all, that we're here, because this was one of your shots, is that you come up and over your elbows. Okay, so it's about hovering, coming up and over, that's it. And the first thing we do is we flatten this hand down, so let's put our ring in the front. That's it, and we slide this one out and then this one over. Now, as soon as we put some asymmetry in here and push the chin forward, that's it, we instantly start slimming down through here. So as soon as we start putting shape in, as soon as we bring the arms away, as soon as we start pushing some triangles in here, and then we can use our arm up. So we can bring this elbow in and cup the face. Now remember, we're trying to create an hourglass, so from the outside, we try and make the elbows right where her waistline's going to be. If I put her elbows past her waistline here, you can't see where her waist is from the front, right? And the idea is that I'm bringing it into her waistline so that she gets that beautiful shape outwards. And then that's her diamond. That's her diamond in her beauty shot anyway, is right there. And that's it, good girl. And I can bring it in. Now, sitting up nice and tall, bring your chin forward and down. Take this hand out, good girl, and then just tip into here. That's exactly right. Relax your mouth, beautiful. So straight away, elbows come in and she slims right down. Also, it's about lifting up and over. So many people sit flat and bring their arms forward. So if you sit flat and bring your arms forward, the arms are shorter. As soon as you lift her up, you stretch her right out. This is a really good card. It's in here, and it gives you such a great example of how that works. Let's just address something else that's really, really important. Come and sit up here in the front. And just sit normally. You can have your jacket back on because it's cold. Okay, so sit down. Now, sit down comfortably in a comfortable sitting position. Everybody's so quiet today. Quiet. All right. Okay. Right. everybody, when Mapu looks at me, everybody has a natural second chin line, which is exactly what you have here, even when I'm here. Okay, so she's looking down at me. It's not because she's looking up. Even if I go lower than the camera, there is her double chin. Okay, that exists for everybody because her neck is in a relaxed sitting position. It's that simple. It's about everybody will sit there and talk at that level and literally, let me use this. Take a shot of it. No, don't smile, just relax. That's it. Okay, now, all we have to do, you stay on me, Mapu, all we have to do is push that chin forward, down, it's there. Now, it's such a significant difference in the slimming of the face. So something that I've put in my curves manual, which you can't see, and it's very, very important, is when you push, and also what she's just done there is she's dropped her head down and she's not meant to do that, so that's my fault, not yours. But what I've done is I've taken a shot of Kate, and what I've done is I've got Kate to tuck her chin back. So yeah, not that far, but just comfortable. So it sits like that. And I've taken a photo of Kate like that, and we've just pretended that we got an amazing shot, but Kate just happened to have her chin tucked in, and we have to fix it on Photoshop. I've recorded myself retouching it on Photoshop and how I do that. So we can do that tomorrow in our Photoshop session. But how to fix a double chin if you do get it. So if you happen to get one, you've got to fix it because it should be the one thing you're not getting from your clients is that double chin line. All right. Now, next, curves. Any questions about curves? Any more?
I have a question that is from Miss Bay. I have a heart-shaped face, broad forehead, and a pointy, sharper jaw. Anytime I tilt my chin down, my forehead is bigger and my chin is even pointier.
Okay.
Is there a face shapes that you don't do just down?
Yes. So also, a lot of very lean girls have a very short chin and a short space between their neck and chin. And so what you don't want to do is push it down, you just want to push it forward. So remember, we're working this off, the best way to describe it is Tyra Banks on America's Next Top Model calls this the turtle. Okay, it's about pushing the chin forward. All right, it's not necessarily about pushing it forward and down, but it's about pushing it forward. So when you do have a little heart-shaped face and a small chin, sometimes you're better with your chin up to the camera, but it still has to come long away from your neck. So like a little turtle, you want to push forward and then lift up just a little wee bit, but maybe you don't need to slim down that jawline, so keep it forward. Your photographer should be able to see that, because I don't just look at everybody and go chin forward and down and then think that's the pose. I'm looking at where it is that your face looks the most beautiful. I also challenge you as a photographer to shoot a nice close vertical shot of a girl from about here to here, and I want to challenge you to get her to push her chin forward like this, and then here. In fact, I'll do it with Simona. Let's do it. I want you to practice this. It's very important. Just stand against the wall. Is first of all, you can take that right off. Is I want you to just take a normal shot like this. All right. And what I want you to do is I want you to show me where you think somebody's face looks the most beautiful, pushing your chin forward now and down a little, stop, and again, down even further, stop, down even further, stop. So that would imply that there's at least 3 levels there. From there, I want you to give me a slight tip this way, too far, so just enough to just tip down, stop, no. So come forward, come down, and then slightly, that's it. So, yeah, now further away, so I want you, that's a girl, but I want you to use your expression so it looks like, yeah, a little bit tiny smile, that's it. And there, so see her face changing significantly as I'm moving it. Now, I want you to lift your chin straight up there, and no, just come back to the center, pushing your chin forward and relax your mouth. And now think of that real model, sort of lifting your chin, there, stop. Okay, so that's it there. And now, slightly away. Stop, relax that mouth, that's it. Sorry. So you can see that there's lots of different angles, but the thing that we don't ever want to do is we never cross the nose, right, through the cheek line. No, come back. So it's about there, and look back. A lot of models, when they're posing, so this is a real model thing, a lot of models when they're posing, they do that whole, they throw their head back and then look back this way, like that. So they'll do the side look. I don't ever do that for portrait because it looks weird. I don't mind them changing that line there, or even this line here. And I do go up and down, and then up and down there. So I actually say, if you were to directly to the camera, up and down, you can have a look at all of those face shapes and see who suits what. Up and down, straight up and down like that. But you never really look right up. Okay, it's about here. And then I look at it like this. You turn the chin to where my breast line is, and you can do that, but you never go past it. Okay, so there and there should be the lines, right? Cool. Okay, so now I want to look at, we've done the chin, a simple sitting down, which was actually one of Mapu's poses, is to bring those two in. And I'll push this forward so she can put her feet on them. That's it. And so sitting normally, Mapu, just sitting on there with your bum with your hands on your sides. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I talked about with pulling the boobs back, let me arrange this for you. Okay, so from here, one of the first things, what I talked about with Fashion Quarterly was closing down too much of that pose. If you bring your knees together and then you bring your right foot up and onto that couch, so we can use that couch. Okay, so if it's too high, if the knee's too high and you feel like it's crowding your pose, just pull the couch away and it will come with it and it will drop down. We always point our toes. Everything we do is with ballet feet and ballet hands, because as soon as we point the toes, makes the legs longer. Absolutely makes the legs longer, 100%. Okay, so from here, we now need to bring her arms from her width. Okay, so if you just relax your hands down, so sit normally. No, just stay up, but just put your hands onto your legs, yeah. Okay, so when the hands are by the sides, obviously that's becoming the width of the body. So we'll just throw a shot up there. Any minute now. And when we slide the elbow right out to the edge of the knee, so we're bringing forward what we want the camera to pick up and pushing back what we want the camera not to. We slide the other hand through, nice and close, and then we pull the boobs back through. Okay, now the chin comes forward and down, that's it, and then all of a sudden we're here. Now that's an extreme case. That's an extreme case of crossing the arms over. But what you can see is the way it tapers. Now, the reason I'm bringing the elbows forward to the knee, lots of reasons. I never want it to look symmetrical, so I never pull one all the way through. I'm taking the weight off the arms, off the side of the body and slimming down. The good part is it's projecting forward, and she pulled her boobs back through the center, is that you can bring this hand up and you can bring this hand into the shot. Now when we bring our hands up around our face, we not only frame the face, we take beautiful shots. So if you jump out, and I'll jump in, and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to put my toe up, just make sure I pull my skirt down. I'm going to bring this elbow out, I'm going to bring this one to here so it's tapering me in, and I want to be able to use my hand in the shot here, because we can take a whole lot of photographs of people with their hands down, but it changes the mood when you bring hands into an image. I want to be able to play with the hands. I want to take a shot here. I want to take a shot here. I want them to lean on it. I want them to be more casual and friendly. I want them to play with their hair if they want to play with their hair. I want them to frame their face and be all beautiful in a beauty shot here. I want them to touch their throat. I want them to touch the inside of this arm, this shoulder. I want to be able to move the shoulders and move the arms. I want to be able to bring the hands in and play with these to change the mood and pose without changing the fact that I've already slimmed the body, lifted it down, put it into position.